Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, no matter where you are in the world. Hello. Let's just see. Hello from Les. See if my messaging thing works. Yep, there we go. Retired and living the dream. Hello from Les. So I'm just waiting for a few more people to come. I'm, again, a little bit early. So we've got a couple of people in the house. Give us a thumbs up or let me know. Just send me a message saying that you can hear my voice and see the video okay. I think I should be okay now. We've been doing it a while now, and it usually works first time. But a couple of times I've had to switch it off and switch it back on again. So can everybody hear me okay? There's 10 people in now. Richard Mercer, thumbs up. That must mean everything's working okay. Okay, good to hear. So welcome to the channel. Good morning. Welcome back to the channel, to the live stream. Again, it's been quite a while now since I've done one properly. The couple of live streams that I tried to do in Koh Samui and Koh Lanta didn't work, basically because the internet was bad. But I understand it was going to be bad because, I mean, literally hundreds and hundreds of people all on the internet at the same time. And I was just using an internet from my phone, which, okay, wasn't the best in the world. But we did a couple of minutes. Not what I wanted to do, though, but hey-ho, that's the way it goes, isn't it? Yes, we can hear. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Retire, don't give up. Afternoon, Les. Afternoon, Dave. Good to hear from you. Okay, good. So a few interesting things to talk about today. Thanks very much for all of the email messages for concern to see whether I was okay and blah, blah, blah. Because we returned home on the 5th of January, and now what's the 18th today. So yeah, it has been a while. I put a couple of videos up the past couple of days. There's a couple of things that happened. We came back off holiday, and the wife's gone to the farm to visit her family because it's a year anniversary since her grandma died. So basically her and a few family members have gone back home to the farm. Now she might be there for a month or so. Basically, she just likes to help out at the farm, helping mum and dad. And so she's gone there for a month. So I'm on my own here for a month or so. I decided not to stay at the farm for a while because I've got plenty of things to do here. Obviously, I've got all the videos to do, and there's a few repairs I need to do at the house anyway. So I'd much sooner spend the time at the house here in Rayong rather than staying at my wife's farmhouse up in Karat for maybe a month or 6 weeks or so. But anyway, that's a long story. And then when she went up to her parents, I got flu. So I was in bed for 3 days with influenza. Oh, that wasn't a nice experience whatsoever. It was just like, woe is me, and just like, I very, very rarely get colds, but I got cold and it knocked me for 6, that's for sure. But now I'm sort of on the mend now and ready to get back to it. Hearing loud and clear in Switzerland. Good morning, Switzerland. Oh, that'll be very cold in Switzerland, I'm sure. But beautiful scenery, Switzerland. It was on my bucket list to go to Switzerland, but sadly I never got there. Maybe in the future years I'll get to Switzerland and Germany and things like that. So I've still got places that I want to go to and travel to. And I'm so looking forward to do that. And this year, when I get my state pension, funds will be available to be able to do such things. That's why we missed a few calls. Oh, yeah. Everything was switched off, Dave. So I was just like, oh, I can't be bothered. And a runny nose and coughing and sneezing. And yeah, it wasn't very good. Jackson in Thailand, afternoon. Catch up in person with Yasuma. Yeah. And have a safe trip back down to Chak Bong. It'd be good to see Jackson again. Did you get the video I sent about Jackson doing the dance? Somebody sent it to one of my feeds, and I thought, oh, that's Jackson. Hi from expensive, crowded Koh Samui. Yeah. I'm sadly to say, I've got. I mean, I'll do my next video about Koh Samui. I've done the road trip going to Koh Samui. I wasn't overly keen on Koh Samui, to be fair, over Christmas. I was spoilt with Koh Samui. I went to Koh Samui 20 odd years ago, and I was spoiled with it then because it was very charming and beautiful and rustic. And now it's overpopulated, overrun with tourists. The traffic is insane. It's very, very bad. We couldn't get the car to the island because all the spots have been taken up on the ferry. So we hired a motor scooter, and wow, that was dangerous to hire a motor scooter on Koh Samui. But it was much faster than driving a car around. So in hindsight, I'm glad we didn't take the car to Koh Samui, because to go anywhere, it was added another 10 or 15 minutes onto the travel time in comparison to driving around in a scooter. So yeah. But again, I'm going to do the video on Koh Samui. It wasn't what I expected it to be. It doesn't seem like an island anymore. It just seems like the mainland because it's so big and so busy. Cheweng and Lamai, so incredibly busy. But anyway, I know it was Christmas, and it was always going to be busy anyway, but I was disappointed with it, to be fair. Oh, I did, mate. Yeah, it was a funny, it was a funny video of that. So anyway, going on to everything. So this is your chance. I know I keep saying it every week type of thing. This is your chance to ask any questions what you want. I'm here to be able to answer any questions that you want to know, and I'll be happy to answer to the best of my knowledge. And if I can't answer it, I can get back to you and send you to the right direction to the persons who can. I'm hoping to move to my partner's land and build a house. Landlord here has taken 2/3 of the garden without notice. No reduction in the noise and disruption. Well, yeah, you know, we can all move for various reasons whatsoever. And again, there's Chill Thai Nod, N6D. Even with my glasses on, I struggle sometimes reading. Yeah, put a capital Q at the beginning of it, and that denotes it's a question. And if I miss your question because people are scrolling through, it's not because I'm ignoring your question, because sometimes that can take a long time to answer a request, and it might just scroll up. So if you've got a question, just retype it again. So anyway, question, Les, I'm planning to retire in Pattaya, Rayong, and I was thinking, do I need a Thai bank account? I have a HSBC bank account in the UK, and I know Bangkok has a HSBC. Do I need a Thai bank account? Well, I would say yes, you do, because if you're going to retire here, you need to have a retirement visa, and you need to have a bank account, a Thai bank account with either 800,000 baht in that account or an income method of 65,000 baht a month coming into that account. Now, again, I'm going to come on a little bit later with regard to visas, because wow, there's some cracking down of visas going on at the moment. So I'm going to go through the process of how you can apply for your visa and getting a bank account. So just bear with me. It'll be within the next 10 minutes or so. Bill Simpson, hello, Les. Good to see you, mate. How are you feeling? I'm feeling much better, thank you. Now that I've got over the flu, it's man flu, and there's nothing worse than man flu, is there? The world stops when you've got man flu. Retired. Les, I'm off to the Sunday market. We'll leave the live show running. We'll likely be back before you finish, and if not, I will call you tonight. Hit the like button, everyone. Oh, cheers, Dave. Enjoyed the market. Yeah, I've got some interesting things to share with you, Dave, when you call. And yeah, enjoy the chat later on tonight. Be safe. Have a safe trip to the market. Thanks, Les, for the answer. Yeah, again, I'll give a more in-depth answer. Give us like another 5 minutes or so. Question, what are the allowances for a man over the age of 60? What are the allowances for what for a man over 60? I don't know what the allowances with regard to what. I don't know. You'll have to elaborate a little bit more on that question. So, okay, going on with the visa types. I don't think anybody's failed to notice how difficult, and it seems that the Thai immigration are cracking down on everything for those people who are in and out of the country, saying you haven't got enough funds to come into the country. You've done it too many times by land border and things like that. The border runs will be soon a thing of the past. So in reality, what is a man flu? It's worse than a woman's flu. So in reality, the Thailand immigration department are cracking down. So those people who used to, go back to back with a 60-day visa, then get extended for 30 days, then leave the country for a day or two, come back for another 60 days and extend it for another 30 days, them days are gone. The immigration will look up all the stamps that you've had into your visa and determine whether you should be on a retirement visa or a different type of visa than a visa exempt coming into the country and that. So, yeah, so they're cracking down on it. And I've got to say, in my email inbox, that is the most asked question in the month that I've been away. We went away on the 20th and it's the 18th today. So reading through all my emails, that is the most asked question with regard to the visa. Now, the visa, I'm presently on a marriage visa. Again, watch the video. That isn't easy to get nowadays either. Even when we're on holiday, the immigration people rang my wife and complained about the information that we give her. It wasn't to their satisfaction. Even though the policeman who came to visit us at our house accepted it, the lady at the immigration office still had to go at my wife and said, it's always you, it's always you. Next time, she said, if you give us this information next year, we'll decline your visa. Crazy. It's just so frustrating. 7 years we've been doing this, and we give them all the information that they request, and it's not to their satisfaction, which isn't really a big problem. But at the end of the day, it's been 7 years, and the information that we give them over the 7 years has been satisfactory. But again, this year, it's like, no, we're not happy with that. I could go on forever with that. So next year, I'm going to apply for a retirement visa. I've got enough funds coming in now every month to apply for the retirement visa, and that's what I'm going to do. And you're in and out of the office in 15 minutes or so. Now, I'm going to apply for the retirement visa, the retirement O visa. There's a retirement O visa and there's a retirement OA visa. And I'll go through what the differences are a little bit later on. But I'm going to apply for the retirement O visa. And what this means, you don't have to have medical insurance proof, although I've got medical insurance. I've got medical insurance with Pacific Cross. But if you come here on an OA visa, then you have to show that you've got sufficient medical insurance, and that's quite expensive. And you're limited to the amount of companies that you're allowed to get it from. So again, it's difficult. It's better off to get an O visa, even though you might have to jump through a few more hoops. So to open up a bank account in Thailand now is insanely difficult. Even the agents who once before used to be able to open a bank account can't open you up a bank account unless you're applying for a visa. So the visa conundrum and the bank account details is such that you can't have a visa unless you got a bank account. You can't have a bank account unless you're applied for a visa. So it's like a chicken and egg scenario. But if you apply for an O visa from your home country, the embassy, you get a 90-day certificate to say you can go visit Thailand. And because you've applied for it outside of Thailand, that's a retired O visa. It means you can apply for a bank account because you're going to apply for a visa. That is the one way that you can obtain your bank account, but you need 800,000 baht to be able to be put into a bank account, into a Thai bank account as well. If you haven't got the 800,000 baht and you want to do it on an income method, then you're stuffed, because now a lot of embassies don't stamp to say, this is the proof that he's on this amount of money every month. So therefore, to go on the income method, you need to put it into a Thai bank account for 12 months. There lies the problem. And because you're doing it for 12 months, you need to open up the bank account in the first place. So this is where the agents come in. If you want to be able to come to Thailand, you don't have the 800,000 baht, and you want to be able to use the income method of 65,000 baht every month into your bank account, then I would say use an agent. An agent still can get a retirement visa for you, and that'll last for up to 15 months. So during 12 months of that 15 months process, you put 65,000 baht into your bank account every month. And then at the end of the year, you can then apply for a retirement visa based on the income method, because now you've got 12 monthly incomes of 65,000. It seems a bit long-winded and a long way around to do it type of thing, but it is possible to be able to do it that way. But there's also another sting in the tail with the 800,000 baht in the bank. And this sting in the tail is for those people who use their 800,000 baht in the bank as an emergency hospital fund, because they haven't got maybe they've got pre-existing health conditions, so they haven't got medical insurance. So they use the 800,000 baht. So if there was a medical emergency, they've got 800,000 baht that they can depend on. And the fact that if you go below your 800,000 or 400,000 baht as it is after 3 months, but that's with a caveat, then you can use an agent to re-get your retirement visa again, because you've used them funds. But now the Bangkok Bank are freezing that 800,000 baht in your account for 4 months. In other words, whereas before you could use that and sacrifice your visa because you've got a medical emergency, but now if you get the letter from the Bangkok Bank to say, yes, you've got the funds in the bank, they will only give you that letter if you sign a form to freeze your 800,000 in your bank account for 4 months. Therefore, if you have a medical emergency, you can't use that 800,000 baht. So again, it just creates a few more problems. So how we can get over that, I don't know. I haven't come across a way where you can get around that yet. Sadly, that's going to affect quite a few people as well, because a lot of people who can't afford the medical insurance because of various pre-existing illnesses rely on that 800,000 baht for the hospital treatment. So that's sort of a long-winded explanation of the retirement visa. The O visa based on an application outside of the country, that's the easiest one to do it. And you can get your bank account opened by doing that. You can also apply for it in Thailand itself, but it's a little bit more difficult to do. So therefore, if you want to do the income method, use an agent first and then do it that way. I use caps because so that I can see the letters. I'm not shouting, just letting you know. Yeah, no problem. You use your cap. I've got glasses, you know. If I take my glasses off, it's all a little bit blurry, so I wear my glasses to read. And doing it in caps is very good because I can read it a lot easier. Arrived on the 16th of December with a 90-day non-O visa and had no problem opening a bank account and getting a driver license. So did you apply for the 90-day non-O visa through your embassy? And if you did it through your embassy, then you won't have a problem opening a bank account, because it means that you're going to go for your retirement visa. But usually in the case of that, they will freeze your account until you get your retirement visa, so you won't be able to use the account as normal. Blah, blah, blah. The previous question regarding allowances was for me, and I would like to know the tax-free allowances for single person can claim. Well, I'm no tax expert, but I would say that there's plenty of tax information companies online that could answer that a lot better than me. Now, most countries have a double tax agreement. So therefore, if you pay tax in your home country, you don't pay tax in this country. And like for me, I get the fire brigade's pension, so it's classed as a government pension. So my pension isn't taxed over here because it was a government pension. It's already taxed in the UK. But my state pension could be taxed because it's not a government pension. So they're supposed to have rewritten the tax agreements over here in Thailand, but that's still all up in the air yet, and it's over a year now. So majority of people who were scared about paying tax are still in the dark with regard to, there's no concrete evidence to say that they're not going to come for you for tax. By all accounts, it's so complicated to deal with. They've sort of washed their hands of it, but they still haven't put it down in writing as yet. So again, I'm not the proper person to ask with regard to tax allowances, but it's like every country is different with its tax. It depends whether you're single here or you're married here, whether you've got dependents, you can claim for insurance. So there's many different things. So I'd go and consult a tax expert, and they will give you the answer that you require. There's still voting going on over here, so that candidates are just going around asking you to vote for them. Yeah, my agents can still do visas through Kasikorn Bank. Yeah, Bangkok Bank at one time was the favourite bank to deal with, but Kasikorn Bank is now the more favoured one. But whatever's happened at the Bangkok Bank will one day happen at the Kasikorn Bank as well. So I can't see this problem going away, because eventually all the banks will have to toe the same line, and you may have the same problem with the Kasikorn Bank, but it might be in the distant future. But when all's said and done, they are cutting back on all the loopholes that people used to get through. Like, the land borders, where you go to Cambodia. Well, the Cambodian borders is shut now anyway. So there's a couple of companies running to Myanmar, and you stay over Myanmar for 1 or 2 days, and then you come back. And, this re-entry visa, you can only fill it out, so I'm told, when you're outside of the country. So if you're leaving Thailand to go and do a border run, where you could just hop across the border and come back within the hour or so, by all accounts, you can't do that, because you have to leave the country, because your documentation is still valid to say that you're in Thailand, and you've got to get the stamp issued to say that you're outside of Thailand when you're applying for it. Again, it's just another crazy loophole that they're trying to shut. Question. Hi, Les. I love your channel. Just a quick question. I'm thinking about staying in Jomtien for a year or more. I'm thinking of renting. How long is the process of looking around a condo and receiving keys? Well, it can be very quick. You can probably find a condo one day and move into it the following day. It's so easy and simple to do. But what I would say, my advice is, if you're looking for condo areas and condos to live in, look on bought and sold papers, and then you're dealing directly with the owners. And because if you go through an agent will have loads and loads of condos on the book, and the supply and demand, there is more supply now than there is demand. So you can negotiate on the price. But if you go through an agent, and let's say that the price is 15,000 baht a month for a long-term rental for 12 months, the agent then gets the commission of about 15 or 30,000 baht. So therefore, you can't negotiate with the owner. But if you met with the owner of the condo, you could probably get that down to like maybe 12 or 13,000 baht a month. So you get that sort of commission knocked off for you. So I would go around the various condo units or the various areas that you want to live, and just in the juristic department, there's usually a list of condos that are for rent. People put it on the private boards on the social areas and things like that. Bought and sold is a good good advertisement for places that you want to rent. But if you want to, you're not bothered about, you know, negotiating down 2,000 or 3,000 baht, go with an agent, because an agent can show you many different places, and they'll do all the paperwork and stuff like that. The thing to be careful of, if you're going to do it yourself, especially like the Facebook marketplace and things like that, you don't really know who you're dealing with. So if they ask for a deposit, they may not be the agent. They may be just somebody that's acting as an agent and can scam you out of some money. That's been happening quite a few times, where people have paid the deposit to the wrong person, and obviously once you paid your deposit, you're never ever going to get it back. So if you want safety and security, go with an agent, and there's plenty of them around Pattaya. Jomtien for me is a nice place to live, without a doubt. Pratamnak Hill, the trouble with Pratamnak Hill, you'll get the condos much cheaper there, but then it's a long walk down to the BART bus route. Otherwise, you're paying for taxis and motorbike taxis to get from A to B. Just a couple of places that I would suggest that I like very much. And I don't know whether you know Jomtien very well, but near the bus station, there's a place called Chateau Dale. I got a 64 square metre older type of unit there. So it was quite a big unit, single bed, big living room, nice kitchen overlooking the swimming pool. And that was 18,000. But I believe now they're about 15,000 because everything's come down. But Chateau Dale area, and that View to 6, I think it is. There's a few View to there as well. That's on the BART bus run. So you basically just come out of your condo and you jump on the BART bus into the madness of Pattaya. Look, if you're going to look at the areas, look to see how far it is to walk to the BART bus route. And if you can walk to the BART bus route, then you're okay. Because once you've had a few sherbets down in Pattaya, you don't want to walk very far when you get back. So yeah, there's a lot to think. Take your time before actually picking the condo unit, but you can still negotiate with the agents as well, you know. But it's better off to negotiate with the owner as opposed to you're going to get more off negotiating with the owner than the agents. I know use K-Bank now for transferring my monthly income, so no issues international transfers. Yeah, I've still had an issue with one transfer. They asked for 12 months. They asked for 12-month statement from transfer, because I transfer my money from Barclays Bank to Wise, then from Wise up to Bangkok Bank. And one transaction was, it went to Kasikorn Bank, and then from Kasikorn Bank into Bangkok Bank. So that showed as an internal transfer, not an international transfer. So because of that one transfer, they wanted to see 12 months from Wise to show it's from my bank to Wise, then to Bangkok Bank. And then because Kasikorn Bank give you one slip of paper with the 12 monthly payments, just one slip of paper, and they give you the 12-month statements as well. The immigration wanted that from Bangkok Bank, and Bangkok Bank don't do that. So the immigration was angry with my wife because Bangkok Bank wouldn't give them that information, wouldn't give them that one piece of paper with 12 proofs of income on one piece of paper. They give us it, and it was one piece of paper per transaction. So they give me 12 extra pieces of paper, and they just threw it back at my wife and said, that's not what we want. So my wife argued back at them, said, well, if it's not what you want, there's the telephone number of the bank. You call the bank and you tell them what you want, because I told them what you want. I showed them Kasikorn Bank, and their answer to me was, if you wanted this go to Kasikorn Bank, don't bank with Bangkok Bank. Crazy, isn't it? It's just going crazy all at the minute. Highlights, my missus, who is Thai, has a British passport. It took over 6 years and £10,000 for her citizenship. We have our own house in Sibun Ruang. Will Thailand ever have a similar system? Yes, you can. You can get Thai citizenship. You can get Thai citizenship. I looked into that. Again, there's like a few hoops to jump through. but it's 90 between 95,000 and 150,000, depending whether you've got a work visa or retired. So at 95, even at 95,000 baht, that's over £2,000. £2,000 to be able to do, and then you have to have an interview in Thai, so you have to show that you can speak Thai, you can read Thai. There's a lot of hoops to jump through to get Thai citizenship. But I looked upon it, it's 1,900 baht every year to get my marriage visa. So there's a lot of 1,900 bahts in 95, the cheapest at 95,000. Then the administration fee on top of that was 7,500 to 8,000 baht. So I'll stick with jumping through the hoops to be able to get my marriage visa. For me, it doesn't warrant paying that type of money to get a Thai citizenship here. I can do anything and everything that I want to do. I'm retired anyway, so I'll never ever want to work. So that's my answer to that. There is a system anywhere from 95 to 150,000 baht plus the costs, and it's not guaranteed at the end of the day. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. If your wife came in on a rubber boat from France, you wouldn't have had to pay the £10,000. Is your monthly budget still 1,500 or has it gone up, Les? Has it increased over the 10 years I've been? Has it increased over the 10 years you've been there? Yeah, it has increased. I used to live on 50,000 baht a month when I first came over here. Basically, when I first started the channel, I think I did a couple of videos. I live on 50,000 baht a month. But now, £1,500 a month. This is what we live on over here. To get my retirement visa, I've got because of the exchange rate now has gone down to 40, just 42 now. So to get the 65,000 baht a month, I've got to put £1,575, and that brings you up to 65.5 when it's at 42 to 66.3, something like that. So just to make sure I've got the 65,000, because we don't want to go through all of this carry on again with the marriage visa, I'm going to go for the retirement visa. So yeah, in essence, I can live on £1,500 a month easily over here. And that's because, and that pays for all the holidays, the cars, the motorbikes, the buying of this house, everything, excuse me, everything that we want to do, £1,500 a month is suffice. But to get the, on the income method, it has to be 65,000 every month. Unless, of course, you have the 800,000 baht in the bank, then it doesn't matter how much you live on every month. Right. Refused from opening a bank account by Bangkok Bank using a residence certificate and 90-day non-O visa from my home country. Was told to come back after acquiring 1-year visa extension. K-Bank, no problem. Yeah, Bangkok Bank, I seem to be a bit of a sticky wicket on that. But I've got to say, I've had my Bangkok Bank now for 10 years. And yeah, and my bank account has never been frozen. It's never really caused me any problems. And I'd be hesitant to change it. In fact, because my Bangkok Bank I opened it up in Pattaya, and I went down to the Rayong office in Ban Phe, and I said to them, how can I transfer everything over to the Rayong office? Because if I draw any money out of a cash machine, it's 30 baht, because I'm not using the one in Pattaya. Basically, in England, I've got a Barclays bank account. So if I use my cash card anywhere in England, you don't get charged for it. But in Thailand, if you open up a bank account in Bangkok, any province is outside Pattaya, so any province outside of Pattaya, it costs you 30 baht to be able to make a withdrawal. So I just said, okay, can I move? And they said, oh, that's very, very difficult to do that. You have to go down and close your bank account in Pattaya and then reopen one here. And she said, you know how difficult it is now to open up a bank account. So she said, I would just leave it in Pattaya as it is now. And she said, if you need any forms, special forms or anything else like that, she's just go down to Pattaya. It's going to be cheaper than trying to change your bank account. So that's from the Bangkok Bank. Even they were telling me don't do it. So I don't. Question: if you change your marriage visa to a retirement visa, do you need to show 400,000 because you're married, or do you still need 800,000? No, what I'm doing on the income method. So at the present now, we've just got our marriage visa stamped, so that's okay now for a year. So I've got to show 12 months at 65,000 baht a month. That's what I'm saying now, because of the exchange rate has gone down to 42 baht to the pound. To get 65,000 baht into my bank account, it's 1,575 pounds. And as long as I can show 12 monthly income at over 65,000, then I qualify on the income method for the retirement visa. I've never ever had the 400,000 baht in the bank. I've always used the income method also for my marriage visa. Again, we've been married now for 7 years. So it was much easier 7 years ago than it was now. In fact, 7 years you think it'd be getting easier, but no, it was more difficult this year than any other year, because there's new rules have come out, new paperwork that's come out. But again, I've done a video on that, my marriage visa, and you can look at the paperwork, and I've got a download that you can just click the link to it, and you can download the paperwork in Thai and in English, so you know exactly what you want for the marriage visa. So again, the visas part of it is become more and more difficult. And going on from the visa, the DTV visa, Destination Thailand visa, which everybody was hopping to because it's like a 5-year visa, they're even cracking down on that now. They're going to do interviews with you. So you're going to have an interview as to why you want the DTV visa. You have to show paperwork, whether you're going to be working as a digital nomad for an employer, who you're working for, what you're doing, how much you get paid, etc., etc. So there's a whole heap of questions. So even that has become more difficult to get the DTV visa. Again, there are some agents that can help smooth the process over for a few pound or a few baht type of thing. Everything over here in Thailand is still negotiable, but it will cost a little bit more money to get the same results. It's like everything else. The more difficult it becomes, the more you have to grease the wheels of motion, if you like. So it's not impossible, but is it putting people off? By goodness, it's putting a lot of people off. The amount of people I've spoken to, both in Koh Samui, Koh Lanta, as you can imagine, I speak to many, many, many people. And I would say 50% of the people I've talked to are going to look elsewhere until everything, resettles itself down in Thailand. And there's the 2 or 3 demographics of people that are causing all of this, and it's the Ruskies, the Chinese, and the Indians. It's them 3 demographic groups that are causing all of the problems, running businesses that they shouldn't be running, bending the law that they shouldn't be bending. And again, that affects everybody. It affects all the people living here because of what their actions are doing. It affects everybody here. So yeah, sadly, we're all going to pay the price for these few individuals who try to bend the law and, carve out an existence and break the law here in Thailand. And I can't blame the Thai government for cracking down, because they've got to put a stop to it. If the UK put a stop to it, like the immigration side of it and the bending the laws and working and things like that, UK wouldn't be the place that almost everybody wants to leave there now. So is Thailand being good, or is Thailand being bad? Are they making things awful? No, they're not making things awful. They're looking after their own country. they've seen obviously the direction of the Americans, the Australians, the Europeans, the UK. They don't want to go down that route either, and I can't say that I blame them. So it, even their toughest visas and stuff like that isn't too difficult. It is achievable. They never ask for anything impossible. It's always achievable, but there's a lot of running around and a lot of questions and a lot of ticky boxes and a lot of paperwork. Question: for the income method, immigration needs a letter from the embassy to say that you have the income. British embassy does not issue. No, they don't. The British embassies or the European embassies, they're not doing it now. I think there's one or two embassies that still do it, but not many. So you have to prove proof of pension or proof of income. And again, with me, with my fire brigade pension, I get a letter every year to say, you know, when I get the increase every April. So they send me a letter every year now to say, this is your fire brigade's pension, this is how much it's going to be, and this is how much your monthly income is going to be. So I'll just show that to immigration, and that's the proof of income that they require. And then they also see that I transfer that amount of money from my Barclays bank to TransferWise and then over to Thailand. So they just do the calculation as to how much money I'm on with my fire brigade pension. And she said to us whilst we were there doing the marriage visa, and she said, like, you know, she said, it's so much simpler doing the retirement visa. Do you want to change to the retirement visa? So she was prepared to change my visa over from the marriage to the retirement visa there and then. But I was a bit of a stickler. I'm thinking, no, I've done all the paperwork now. No, we're going to do this. Next year I'll consider it, because we had all the paperwork there and there was only one or two other things that she wanted doing. And the paperwork was like that twice over to do it. And it took us maybe 2 or 3 weeks to, you know, to get everything involved. So I was a bit of a stickler and thinking, no, I don't want to do the retirement visa yet. I'll do that next year. So she said, okay. And then, you know, bit of a, because it takes them half an hour, 3/4 of an hour to go through all the paperwork, and then they have to send it off to Bangkok. Yeah. So yeah, the visas are a problem, but not insurmountable. Jackson in Thailand. Thailand is acting correctly. They want to make sure you can afford to live here. Exactly. I agree with you. But, and there is a but, is that you don't need 65,000 baht a month to live on here. You just have to show that you've got 65,000 baht a month. Again, when I used to do the living on 50,000 baht a number of years ago, you know, you can do that. And in reality, you can still live on £1,000 a month, you know, like 50 or 60,000 baht a month. So you can still live that, but you still need to show the immigration that you've got that amount of money coming in. So there's other people that I know that are living on 25 and 30,000 baht a month. But of course, there are legal loopholes. I'll never ever tell anybody to do anything illegal. There are legal ways of jumping through them hoops to show the immigration what you're getting, and what you get and what you actually live on is two very, very different things. Again, because I'm on my own for a month, I'm going to do a couple of videos on eating out. I've just been to the Marriott today, the Marriott, top hotel in Thailand, one of the top hotels in the world anyway, the Marriott chain. And I had a lunch buffet for 259 baht. Eat as much as you want, and it was beautiful food, beautiful surroundings for 259 baht. You know, that's about £6, isn't it, for as much as you want to eat. Eating here is incredibly cheap. Again, the videos that I've done about Koh Samui and Koh Lanta, it is much more expensive to eat out down at them location. You go to any tourist location anywhere in the world and it's much more expensive than the normal area. Pardon me. And it's only now that I've come back to Rayong I've discovered how cheap this place is for food and drinks and rent, and everything is much cheaper up north. It's the same in England. It's much cheaper to live up north than it is to live down south. And I would tell everybody, Rayong for me is a wonderful location. I've done a video, Retired and Living with the Dream, in Thailand, and I'm sat in Three Tree Beach watching the sun go down, and there's some people put in the comments, why did I travel 1,000 kilometers to see what we've already got here? And it's true, yes. But I did see, the wife had never been to Koh Lanta before, and neither had I. And the wife had never been to Koh Samui. And would we ever go back to Koh Samui again? No, it's definitely off our list, Koh Samui. It's not for me. And again, watch the video about that. It's my version of living on Koh Samui, and it's not for me, that's for sure. Hi Les, having had a 60-day and a 30-day extension, I'm planning a month-long trip to Vietnam. Hope to return and do the same. Yeah, you can do the same because it's not very close together, and you're allowed 2 60-day visas anyway. But if your second 60 days is within the calendar, within the 12-month calendar, you won't get an extension for another 30 days. You'll only get another extension for 7 days, as I believe it. So therefore, yeah, Vietnam, you love Vietnam. I love Vietnam. Beautiful place. And that's where a lot of expats are going to, Vietnam, because, again, Vietnam, Laos and Cambodia welcome opening arms to tourists and things like that. They're making it actually easier to visit their countries, where Thailand is going the opposite direction and making it more difficult. So, yeah, have a serious think about Vietnam as well, because apparently the exchange rate is better in Vietnam than it is in Thailand at the minute. At the minute, 42 is very, very hurtful in comparison to what it was like even like 5 or 6 months ago. You were getting 44, 44 and a half. It does make a big difference. Hi Les, love your videos. I'm retired in Pattaya. If I return to the UK and live there for over 6 months, can I qualify for the full pension rate? Then later return to live in Thailand. Oh, I've had so many arguments and so many phone calls and so many emails from the Department of Work and Pensions about this subject, because theoretically, yes, you should be able to do that. It also depends on whether in a nutshell, because I got a letter from the decision maker over this process, and if it's your intentions to live in the UK full time, then you'll get the rate rise. Or if it's not your intention to live in the UK for a long time, more than 6 months, then you will not get the rise, because if you're going back to Thailand, they look upon that, well, you didn't really make us believe that you're going to live in the UK for the rest of your life to qualify for the pension. It's the same as if you live in a reciprocal country, let's say the Philippines, because the Philippines, I was using that as an example. If you bought a house in the Philippines and you had a long-term visa in the Philippines and you traveled to Thailand for 6 months, then you would qualify for that rise as long as you lived in the Philippines for the 6 months, because that is your designated place of residence, because you've got proof to say you've got a house in there. It's the same in the UK. If you haven't got a rental agreement or a house in the UK, you just you stay at your sisters, your mothers, your aunties, uncles, or whatever. There's no real proof to say that you're going to live there long term. The Department of Work and Pensions, although they assured my friend by doing that for 6 months, he would qualify for the upgraded pension, and they assured him for weeks and weeks and weeks before he went, yes, you'll get it. And then when he came back to Thailand, they dropped it down because of exactly the same reason where I've said, because his main residence was in Thailand, he didn't have the expectations of living full-time in the Philippines. So therefore, he only did it for 6 months with a view to returning back to Thailand. So they could say exactly the same thing with you, my friend, that, you know, you had the view of returning back to Thailand and you only stayed in the UK for 6 months just to get the pension rise. But again, there's lots of groups that I'm attached to as well, with regard to fighting for the injustice of 500,000 people who do not get their pension rises every year. Let's hope that if reform get in, they'll look upon it more favourably. So, you know, it isn't dead and buried as yet, but as far as getting Labour to do it, do you really think they're going to say, oh, okay, then it's another 500,000 voters? Because I'm sure everybody would be happy if the Labour government said, yes, we'll give you it. But can you see it? I can't see it. They don't want to give anything away. Friends who work in England 20 years, can you help with retirement and guide them? Yeah, I can send him in the right direction, no problem. If you've worked in the UK for 20 years and retire, if you want to retire in Thailand, no problem. I can still guide him towards what he needs to do, no problem with that. Koh Samui and Lanta have the pay for supplies to be ferried over, so it's going to be more expensive. I miss Three Tree Beach, hence why I'm moving back. Well, Three Tree Beach is a beautiful place. I know that they've got to get the things over to the island. It's much more expensive, but 140 baht for a beer compared to for a large Chang as opposed to 90 baht here. And I believe a big bottle of Chang is the same price down south as it is up here in north, you know, 60 baht a bottle or whatever. So yeah, everything is more expensive. Tourist locations are always going to be more expensive. Regarding pension, I watch your pension videos, but like you, was left more confused. Yeah, again, even the answer that I got off the decision maker, it's still a grey, ambiguous area. I contacted several lawyers with regard to pensions, asked for a pro bono where the work for the, you know, good of the people, and not one person, not one lawyer has taken it up. And a couple of other lawyers that do pension work said, no, it's going to cost a fortune. So therefore, the government have got big pockets and you lose in the end. So, and that's from the lawyers. So again, you know, they will make the rules suit to what they want it to do. As the last letter I got from the Department of Work and Pensions, you know, in one breath, the tax people say that you are habitually resident in a country if you live there for more than 6 months. But if you try to claim your pension, you're not habitually resident because it's not your ordinary residence. Ordinary residence and habitual residence, in their eyes, is totally, totally different. And the fact that you weren't living in that country long term, you only moved to that country to be able to claim the pension. It is confusing. But again, I fought this now for over 12 months now. And again, it's time to put it to bed. Sadly, the guy that tested the theory and went to the Philippines, he lost 6 months of his life on, you know, on my videos and what the Department of Work and Pensions told him and promised him and give him the green light to be able to go. And it's them who let him down. So it's them that lied and it's them that altered the system. And they wouldn't give him it in black and white either. So crazy. If the 500,000 get together, it would help. You only need 100,000 signatures to raise the bill in Parliament, though it doesn't mean it'll change. It's already been brought up in Parliament. There is a letter I got from the campaign group, and there was enough signatures to bring it up in Parliament. And it was, I think, a 10-word answer. Basically, the government has no plans to change this. It's a 70 or 74-year-old ruling, and you know the government have no plans in changing this. And that was short shrift answer that meant nothing to anybody. all the campaigning, all the things that's going on, the MPs, to bring it up. There's the lady, the Canadian lady. It's the Canadian MPs are going to try and use their influence into the MPs or Prime Minister over here, but to no avail. The lady from Canada made an appointment to go and see Keir Starmer, and he wouldn't see her. He said he was too busy to meet her. He's just a weasel, that man. He really is. It is the worst government ever, and it just makes me blood boil when I think about all the things that's going on, and I can't understand for the life of me why people don't get up and have a revolution, because how much do we have to suffer? I mean, I'm not suffering because I'm sat here over in Thailand, but everyday people, how much do they have to suffer before it actually snaps? How can it be that a family, a man and a woman with 4 kids, and don't work, have the equivalent of £71,000 a year coming into the account? They don't work, but that's what they get on benefits and family allowances and etc. £71,000. There's no way in this earth that man is, or the couple are going to be able to go out to work to earn £71,000 to get to the same lifestyle that they're getting now. And that's because of they've taken the 2 child cap off. Just some people are getting an extra £3,500–4,000 a year. If you do good in the UK, you get taxed to heaven. There's no reward for being good and being an honest, reliable, salt of the earth type of person in the UK. And the only way you get rewarded in the UK is if you're a bad boy. You get courses, you get money to be able to not commit crime, stuff like that. A number of years ago, there was this lad that I went and put a smoke detector in. He lived in quite a nice semi-detached house. Walked through the door, and he had a big 55-inch flat screen TV, leather settee. He lived in a nice area, and I'd just gone through a divorce, and I was living in a bedsit, the lowest part of my bloody life. And we put smoke detectors in drugs cabinets because he was dependent on methadone, and so was his wife. And I said, "How did you get this, mate?" He said, "Oh, the government had given me this," he said, "to stop me from offending. They said, if they give me a nice house in a nice area, it may encourage me not to offend." I say no more. That was 25 years or so ago, and it's still going on now. He's worse than the weasel because it serves a weasel service. Yeah, exactly. There's no incentive to work in the UK. I'm a borough boy from Middlesbrough. I loved Redcar in the 70s and 80s. Thanks for your advice, Les. No problem. I was brought up in South Bank, so if you're a borough boy, you know South Bank, and that was never ever a nice area. It was right next to the steelworks where my dad worked in the steelworks. I grew up in South. I was born in Northamptonshire, lived in South Bank until I was 11, and then we moved because my dad bought the house in South Bank, and we moved to a council house in Redcar, and our lifestyle just improved because we moved to a council house from a street house in South Bank. So I was in Redcar from the age of 11 until I was age 50, and then I left England and traveled the world for 2 years, and I've lived in Thailand now for the rest of the time. So I've been out with the UK this year 16 years, and I don't miss it one little bit. I really don't. I mean, South Bank, all the houses that I lived in and the areas, it's just all been knocked down. But when I walk around Redcar, there's some areas I wouldn't walk around after like 11 or 12 o'clock at night in Redcar. Unbelievable. I knew it worked in Monsanto. Monsanto. We used to go sea calling at Seaton Crew in my dad's little A35 van. Again, growing up as a kid, even though we were poor, I never missed anything because, we were poor and that's just the way it was. And I never, ever had aspirations of going on holiday abroad. Even when the cheap seats to Spain came You know, we only ever had one holiday as a child. We went to Flamingo Land Zoo for a week, and that was it. Never ever had. We had day trips to Edinburgh and Blackpool, and that was our holiday. So yeah, here I am now living halfway around the world and love it. And I've traveled all around the world. I did a round the world trip and I've loved it. But that's all because of work. Benefits isn't going to pay for that. I've worked bloody hard and I've enjoyed working. I've always had a working attitude. I've never ever been lazy. And if there's anything I want, I've always worked for it and got it. Highlights. If you weren't able to move to Thailand and have to stay in the UK, how would you make retirement enjoyable? Is it possible at all? Okay, let me answer that. Because I had my own electrical business, I was earning a lot of money with my electrics. And I actually went back to college to get me electrical certificate so I could work my own electrical business. So I was earning a lot of money when I got to 50 years old, and I could have carried on being an electrician, earning a lot of money. And on top of that, me 5-year pension as well. And now at 66, I'd get me state pension. So I would be on about £3,500, £4,000 a month. Easily £3,500, £4,000 a month. Maybe it's a little bit more when my state pension comes in. But I think you can live a comfort. If let's say £3,000 a month. If you've got that amount of money coming in, you could live quite a good lifestyle, I think, in the UK. You could move to the nice areas, you know, the Lake District or the Cotswolds, things like that. I would never be able to afford to buy a house because at the end of the day, house prices were just prohibitively expensive. But yeah, you know, because I worked hard and I gained other skills and qualifications, then them skills and qualifications would pay out at the end of the day. But for those people who don't have the extra skills and they just retire on a private pension or just live on the state pension, it's very difficult to enjoy life on such a small amount of money, that is for sure. So again, if you're young enough, 30s, 40s, gain another skill, gain a practical skill, joinery, electrician, plastering, they're never ever going to be taken over by AI, that's for sure. But IT skills and stuff like that, you know, you're going to be replaced by AI. Electrician or a plumber is probably the two best skills. I mean, electricians now, they're like sort of £300 to £400 a day. A plumber is the same amount of money. You'd never ever be out of work if you're an electrician or a plumber, that's for sure. So hopefully, yeah, 3,000. I would have had £3,000 a month, so I could live quite a comfortable life in the UK if I wanted to. When you help your neighbour that has the cat sanctuary, does it feel good? You aren't doing it for money, are you? No, I'm not doing it for money. In fact, I give her donations. Every time I go there, I give her a donation towards the cats every month. And if there's anything like I've replaced taps, I've replaced valves, I've fixed things, and I give her a donation and pay for the equipment or taps and things like that. So on average, it's about 1,500 a month that I give her. And I'm going around there next Saturday. No, I don't do it for money. I enjoy it because we used to have cats as when I was a young boy and loved cats. I love Seaton Crew. I used to ride there on a made-up bike from parts. Love the sand dunes there. Yeah, again, my first bike was from a scrapyard. Me and me couple of friends, we jumped over the wall to the Prosser's scrapyard it was on Skipper's Lane, grabbed a couple of bike frames, and then we sort of acquired wheels and but that was great as a kid, making my own bike. Again, as young childhood, I think our age now, we had the best life, because nowadays people are like that on the phone or the iPad. They don't have the communication skills like they used to have when we were young, that's for sure. Is it dangerous being an electrician? No. I had In fact, I've had 2 really big electric shocks over here in Thailand. But stupidity, you know, and just sort of, this is in the early days when I was over here. I treat everything with caution now over here, because the electrics over here are nowhere near the safe standards, European standards, American, Australian, or UK standards. I'll give you 2 for instance. I went to change a fuse board for a friend of mine, and I said, I've switched everything off. I said, right. I said, I've knocked everything off now, and I said, I'm going to change the board. And she says, well, my air conditioning's still working. I said, well, it shouldn't be. I've knocked everything off. She said, no, my air conditioning's still on. So when I had a look at the air conditioning and I traced the cables, the 2 cables coming from the meter outside into the house, they didn't run cables going to the fuse board. They just connected the 2 cables to the live and the neutral coming into the house without no fusing, just straight to the cables from the meter. So the only fuse that is going to isolate, if there was a fault on there, is the main line fuse, and that isn't going to blow very, very easily at all. Crazy, absolute crazy, dangerous. And in my house, I put an outside, when we first moved in here, on the outside socket, I put an extension socket on it. And when I took the front of the socket to join the cables on, there was 3 red cables, 3 red. So 1 live, 1 neutral, 1 earth. So somewhere in the house, there's a red cable going to a black cable, and there's a red cable going to the earth cable. So it's joined somewhere. So you can see how easily it is to be able to get confused with the electrics over here. Yeah, I've helped a few people out with the electrics over here, fault finding and fixing. And I do it because I still enjoy fault finding. I love fault finding with the electrics, and I've certainly solved a few problems over here, that's for sure. Hi from Scott from New Zealand. Hello there. Do you think a pot of 500k but no other income would be sufficient for somebody to retire Thailand at the age of 50, or not enough? No other pensions. I mean, 500k at £1,000 a month, that's 500 months. How many years is 500 months? So yeah, with investments and stuff like that, because that 500k would not make nothing at all. There's things you can do with that 500k that would give you an income every month. Put it into an annuity, something. So even though you've had 500k, it's not just 500k. And if you've got no pension, no state pension, then that's what you've got to worry about. But that's the same in any country. If you lived in the UK and you had 500,000, once that's gone, it's gone, hasn't it? But if you're living in the UK and you've got no pension, there's still always a possibility that you could do part-time jobs and something like that, something to make an income. Whereas if you come over here in Thailand, that is taken away from you. So you can't really do any part-time work over here, unless you're working online, but that's not as easy as people make it out to be. So 500k, yes, you could still live on your 500k, but you could invest it so you got a certain amount of money every year. There's things that you could make that 500k work for you. But then I would go and see an investment manager and get some advice off him. But if you were foolish with that 500k over here, then it could last you for a year or 2 years. But you'd have a damn good 1 or 2 years, that's for sure. So yeah, it is possible. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. You can live on that amount of money. So just look at everything. Come over here, pardon me, and see how much it costs you to live every month. Again, £1,500 I live on a month. So how many £1,500 in 500k? And if you just divide 1,500 into 500, that gives you how many months that you can live on that amount of money for if that 500k doesn't make anything whatsoever. I dare say shrewd investment of the 500,000 would give you an income of £1,000 a month, and you can live over here on £1,000 a month, that's for sure. Being an electrician sounds more interesting than being a plumber, to be honest. I would say being an electrician is easier than being a plumber, because you can hide your cables all over the place. There's ways of doing it, where plumbing, plumbing is difficult because you need holes everywhere. In fact, there was one house that I did down in Southampton. I drilled all my holes to put all my electrical cables, and I had a day off. And then the following day, when I went back into work, the plumber had used all my holes to thread his copper pipe, so I had to drill more holes. And the owner, because it took me 2 extra days to do the job, wasn't very happy, because he said, you said you'd do it in 2 weeks, and now it's like 2.5 weeks. And I said, because the plumber. Oh, you're blaming somebody else? I said, okay, it doesn't matter. I said, I won't charge you for the 2 extra days. So, yeah. But, I mean, both jobs are very well paid. Sometimes, I like electrics. I do like electrics. It's fun to see what you can get and work things. And I would imagine being a plumber is just as fun as well, because you see the results when it's finished. And a lot of your work, same as a plumber's work, is all hidden, same as electrician's work, so that the customer doesn't realize the extent of what you're doing to hide the cables or hide the pipe work. They just see the finished result. Hi Les, I heard that high season last year was lower than in the past years. Is it expected to be muted this year because of visas, more expensive flights? Yeah, it's already down 7% this high season. So it's already having an effect. Yes, it is. And the government are trying to, the BART is too high, so which is putting people off as well. So the government are going to take action to sort of restrict the BART's influence. It's artificially high, so therefore it's putting people off, and the flight prices are expensive as well. So it's sort of a perfect storm on how to put people off, and that's what's happening. People are being put off because of all of them things. And if you look at Vietnam or Laos or Cambodia, it seems more appealing. And Thailand's always going to be here, so go to somewhere where your pound or your dollar goes further, and then have a look at Thailand next year. Les, I'll be 70 this summer in Jomtien. I have insurance with Pacific Cross from your recommendations video. Anything I should worry about going on 70, the age thing? No, 70. I've got friends who are 75, 75 this year, and I got friends who are 85. The 85-year-old struggling a bit now, but the other two friends who are in the 70s plus. I mean, I was out with Dave this afternoon or this morning going for lunch. He's as fit as a butcher's dog at 74. He really is. He doesn't look 74 at all. And if I'm as fit and healthy as him at 74, I'm doing well. But again, if you're overweight or if you smoke or you drink too much, then you can take preventative actions with that. Same with me. I was 118 kilos at my heaviest, now I'm down to 92. So 26 kilos I've lost, and I feel that I've lost 26 kilos as well. All my clothes fit better. I feel healthier. I feel more awake. Easier to do all of them things. So again, look after your health, because health is wealth. So if you are a little bit overweight, do something about it. If you smoke too much, do something about it. If you drink too much, do something about it. It all gives you that longevity. And let's face it, when you live in paradise, as we do over here in Thailand, you want as much as you can. That's for sure. Pacific Cross is good. Yes, I'd agree with that. Hi, Les, is Pia worth visiting? Do you mean Pai? If that's Pai, yeah, Pai is very, very well worth visiting. It's beautiful up in Pai. And another one past Pai as well, which is about 4 or 5 hours past Pai, is a place called Ban Rak Thai. That is way up north, but it's stunningly beautiful, and it has a big Chinese influence. We went there last year for Christmas and New Year. Well, Christmas in Ban Rak Thai, and it was stunningly beautiful. There's a mist that comes in through the mountains over the lake. You can have tea, a meal on the lake, on the boat. It's just stunningly beautiful. In fact, I've done a couple of videos on Ban Rak Thai and Chiang Mai, Pai, and things like that. So I've looked through my videos, and you'll see. And it is well worth the trip. It's a long way to go, without doubt, but it's worth every penny. And as I say, this year we went to Koh Samui and Koh Lanta. Where we're going to go for next Christmas, I have no idea, because we've been right up north now, we've been right down south. So struggling a little bit, thinking of where we're going to go next year. Oh, this year is now, because we're in 2026, aren't we? Right. Do we need a lot of good people skills to be an electrician? I'm quite introverted, more of a book person and not a UK local, come from China. Yeah, no, not really, because I mean, conversational skills and skills for selling your, that you're a good electrician or whatever. But basically, you're just on your own. They're not talking to you, because if they're talking to you, you're not concentrating on the job. So in reality, being an electrician, you speak very little to the customer. It's just that initial interview that you have with them to say that you're going to do them a good job for a reasonable price and that you're well qualified. For me, when I became a qualified electrician, I only ever advertised for the first year. And then after that, all my jobs came by word of mouth. And I never looked back. Even working part-time as an electrician, I was earning more money than being a firefighter, working full-time. So the pay is exceedingly good in the UK as an electrician, as it is anywhere else in the world, and as a plumber. In fact, there was one time there was just trying to think of Pimlico Plumbers. Pimlico Plumbers was one of the top plumbing firms in London, and he did a lot of work for all of the celebrities in London, and he was well known for that. He had his own vans, which had private number plates, and he only employed the top staff or whatever. And there was some bankers at the time, before the financial crash, sort of went to be plumbers because they felt better thought of being a plumber than being a banker or a finance guy. And at the time, they were earning up to £75,000 a year. This is going back 2008, 2009. So a good plumber is probably on anywhere between £70,000 and £100,000 a year. An electrician, again, I would say between £50,000 and £70,000 a year. And that's easily achievable. Pi, P-A-I. You've got P-I-A, P-A-I, Pi. And Ban Rak Thai, B-A-N-R-A-K-T-H-A-I, Ban Rak Thai. Go to Kuala Lumpur or Malaysia for Christmas. As you can drive there, a long drive though. I mean, it was a long drive down to Koh Lanta. We did it, over 1,000 kilometers going down to Koh Samui and then drive down to Koh Lanta. We're on about maybe going to Malaysia for our 10th anniversary in July. But it is a thought about, I mean, the wife doesn't like flying, but she wants to go to Korea and see the snow. So we're on about going to Korea next January. So we might forego the Christmas trip and New Year trip just to go to Korea in February time to go and see the snow, proper snow. We'll see. Anyway, it's all up in the air. We're on about maybe going to Kuala Lumpur for our 10th anniversary in July. We've been together for 10 years in July. and she's been a lovely girl as well. No, well, we've always got complaints, haven't we? But she's been a nice girl. On Jumping Beach today, I see many different countries sticking their huge national flags on the beach road. This has good and bad points. What are your thoughts on it? A flag is a flag, isn't it? I mean, when you think of it, any tourist location has got to have a mixture of people from all over the world. And Thailand is no different to that. Again, when we were in Koh Samui and Koh Lanta, Russians, there was lots and lots of Russians in Koh Samui, and in Koh Lanta, just a mixture of everybody, really, every nationality. There was a lot of Brits in Koh Lanta, so I was talking to quite a few British people in Koh Lanta. But I like Koh Lanta much more than Koh Samui. We were in Koh Lanta for New Year. It was just very nice. Sorry for hogging the questions I have, but do you think 40 is too old to train for an electrician? My health is good for now. I was 42. I was 42 when I went back to college to get my City and Guilds to be an electrician, because I knew I could retire at the age of 50. And at the time, I'm thinking, I was going through a big divorce as well, so I definitely needed some more money when I retired. So yeah, you can still do it. Now, there's a few ways of doing it now. At the time, it wasn't as easy to become an electrician as it is now. You can become an electrician now in 6 weeks if you've got £5,000 to invest in yourself, and you'd earn that £5,000 back in the first 6 months anyway. So there is shortcuts to be able to become an electrician, and a lot of qualified electricians would knock that advice because they went through an apprenticeship scheme and things like that. But it's like everything else. If you've got the money, you can shortcut anything. And electrics isn't the most difficult thing to do in the world, but it is a safety conscious thing, and knowledge is power. And there's a lot to things to do now with the electrics. Is you need the qualifications to be able to do it. Everything has to be paperwork. If you put a socket in, it has to be tested and paperwork adhered to. So being an electrician now, there's a lot of paperwork to do also. But yeah, you could still train to be an electrician at the age of 40. It's not too old. So 40, let's say it takes you 2 years to be fully qualified. 42, that's still 25 years of working. 25 years, you can earn a serious amount of money being an electrician, that's for sure. Hi, Les. Jack here. 58-year-old, I've just retired. Well done. 58-year-old, well done. There's very few people now can retire less than 67 as it is now. I'm lucky because I retired at the age of 50 and I loved it. And I've never worked unless I wanted to work from the age of 50. I did a brief 4 or 5 months in Southampton as the maintenance manager when I was married to my Chinese wife. She, long story, she wanted to go and see a marriage counsellor because our marriage was falling to bits. So I agreed to go back to England for 4 or 5 months, try and sort it out. And then it's just like, no, we finished. And then I just left. But yeah, again, when you've got skills and qualifications wherever you can work anywhere in the world, HelpX and Workaway are 2 fantastic sites that you can work on. And you get your free accommodation and free food for working maybe 4 or 5 hours a day for 5 days a week. That's a wonderful, cheap way of traveling around the world if you've got a skill or qualification. And again, if you're just good at DIY, many people just want that as well. So yeah, well done at 58-year-old. What's your plans, Jack? Are you coming over here to Thailand, or are you just thinking about it? I find it intimidating. There are huge flags. I think for sporting events, it's okay. Oh, well, I don't know. I wouldn't find it intimidating. I mean, there's loads of if I look around here now, I can see 5 Thailand flags just stuck outside of the house. I don't know what happened, but there was a huge thing that went on. Everybody was sticking their Thailand flags outside the house. There's maybe some sort of event going on in Jomtien Beach. Who knows? Hi, Les. Did you like Charm? Yeah, I like Charm. It's a very quiet place. It's sort of a poor man's version of Wahin. Wahin at the minute, because we stopped in Wahin on the way back from Koh Lanta. It's very busy, Wahin, with the traffic, and it's just busy. But but Chatham is much quieter, but it's not as sophisticated as Wahin. But yeah, Chatham is nice. I would consider Chatham more than Wahin because I just don't like the traffic. I don't like the crowds and that. It's nice to have there when you can. It's only 30 minutes away from Chatham to the centre of Wahin. But if we ever went to the centre of Wahin, just trying to park your cars is just difficult to do. So yeah, where we are, it's for me, it's a wonderful location. There's never really any traffic jams. It's fairly quiet living here. I'm 8 minutes away. It just ticks all my boxes. 15 minutes away from, the macro or the Lotus for our shopping, things like that. 35 minutes away from Rayong City itself, where there's a plethora of shops, anything and everything that you want. You've got to go and live in these places for 2 or 3 months and see what you think about it. So don't rush into anything that you want to move into. Look before you leap, I would suggest. I retired last year at 59. I'm so glad I did. Well done. Well done to anybody who's retired. 59-year-old is still it's a good age to retire. Better than 67, isn't it? That's for sure. How can you be intimidated by just a flag? Yeah. Retire, don't give it. Oh, you must be in the market. All right, Les, I'm back from the weekend fix of sushi. Hi, Les, any knowledge about Sriracha Hospital? Is it cheaper and good to go there in Bangkok Patti Hospital? Well, I think any hospital is going to be cheaper than the Bangkok hospitals. I don't know, to be fair. But I would say any public hospital, you're still going to get some good treatment in a public hospital. You might have to wait a little bit longer, but it's cheaper. And a doctor, for me, is a doctor when all's said and done. But any Bangkok hospital, it's top specialists for anything and everything. But I would always go to the public hospital. A nerve problem on a 3-teeth bridge is costing me nearly 60,000 baht. Ooh. Well, dental treatment over here is quite expensive. I'd crowns done for about 12 to 15,000 baht each. So over the past 10 years that I've been here, I've had to have 4 crowns. So that's 60,000 baht, 15,000 baht a piece. But that's over the past 10 years or so. So dental treatment, just for a normal brush and scrub up and polish and that, is like 20 quid or something like that. But yeah, dentist work over here isn't, for me, I don't think it's cheap. But then again, I don't know what the price is in the UK. That's if you can get to see a dentist in the UK. Over here, you just go one day, and if they can fit you in that day, they will. If they can't, it might be a day or two before you go back to see a dentist. Do you know if Thailand has good care for cancer, the long-term money-sinking illnesses, or should you come back to the UK? Okay, I'll give you my take on that. Anything to do with cancer anywhere in the world is expensive. And the UK has got a unique thing that it's free. because the NHS is free. But for all those people, the Americans, Canadians, English, Europeans, stuff like that, they would have to pay. And it's the same in Thailand. Cancer care is expensive. Now, for me, if I was diagnosed with a terminal illness, that is my final resting place there. The sofa overlooking that view. That was a bit of a... I don't want to prolong my life another 6 months or 12 months to live in the UK. I would sooner bite the bullet and see out my days here, where I'm the happiest that I've ever been here in Thailand. It's warm, it's inviting. My personal attitude of that is that we're all going to die one day. And if my number's up and they say you've got a terminal illness, I'll see out my days here. As long as I've got pain relief medication, then I'll see out my days here. I would not want to go back to the UK to prolong my life for another 6 or 12 months in a country that I don't want to be in, because I'd just be indoors, because you wouldn't be, 6 months of the year, you can't really go out because it's freezing bloody cold. So imagine if you had another 6 months to live because you went back to the UK, and them 6 months that you had to live is from October till April, the coldest months of the year. You'd be stuck indoors with a central heating on because you won't want to go outside. I can sit on my sofa here and drink me coffees and drink me Chang beers and me whatever I want to drink for the remaining days of my life. But that's my thought of it. I don't know whether you'd agree with me or disagree with that. Right, let's have a look. I'm still working at 68 because I can't afford to retire here in the UK, unfortunately. Sad to hear, sorry to hear about that. Yeah, it's a difficult one, that one, isn't it? I mean, some people, divorce strikes a lot of people that they can't afford to retire. But then, to say if you get your full state pension, you can live here in Thailand on your full state pension. And I've done a video about that, living on 35 and living on 50,000 baht a month. So, and there's a guy that I'm meeting next month, and that's all he's got is £1,000 a month to stay on. And he's been here twice now to do the research to see whether he can live here for £1,000 a month, and he can. The only thing that you have to worry about is health. And if you have a few £1,000 that you can put to one side for health reasons, then just go for it. Or you can look upon it in a different way, that you might not be ill for another 10 years, and then you've missed 10 years of living over here. But then if you're ill, as long as you've got your bus fare home or your air flight back to the UK, you can fly back to the UK. It's risk and reward, isn't it? So, but looking at, you can live here on your state pension, that's for sure, £800 a month. Yeah, normal living Thailand, cheap living, great times. Again, if you want a chat with me, just send me an email, and I'll certainly chat to you with the options that you can have, and I'll do it for free. So just send me an email and we do a WhatsApp talk, and I can tell you the nitty gritty of everything and what you can do. You can live in a condo overlooking the beach for £150 a month. Not too far away from where I'm living. Cancer care in Canada is free as well. Well, good for that. Thanks from Australia, no problems. It's free in the UK because the government tax you on everything to the hilt. So it's not, it's not really free, is it? Hi, Les, Jack, and I've been married for 8 years now and just recently retired 2 months ago. I've really enjoyed all your videos. Going for marriage visa on Wednesday. I hope everything goes smoothly for your marriage visa, but I'm sure they'll ask you for more paperwork. Let me know how well it goes. Where are you applying for the marriage visa? Hopefully not in Rayong. Yes, Les's videos are the best. Thank you very much. Hi, Les. I'm close to taking the leap and retiring to Khon Kaen I've got my head around most of the visa and banking requirements. What I'm struggling with is the tax due you or your own tax returns. I've never done a tax return over here. And again, if you're living in the UK, most countries have a dual tax agreement. So if you pay tax in the UK, you shouldn't have to pay tax over here. But again, that still hasn't been wrote in stone yet. Officially, you still should be paying tax, but unofficially, they've said, forget about it, you won't have to pay tax. So it's still up in the air to be sure, and I'm not 100% positive to say you will never, ever have to pay tax, but at the minute, you won't have to pay tax. I agree the UK isn't horrible, but I don't feel good here. Do you think you can be happy without doing a bit of work during retirement? I'm worried that'll be too bad. Oh, I took to being retired like a duck to water. I've been retired 16 years this year, and I've loved every bit of it. And as far as being bored's concerned, you've got to have something to do, that's for sure. 100%, you've got to have an interest, a hobby, to do something. I like traveling, and I love traveling. We have a nice car that we go traveling around with. We have enough income, and at £1,500 a month, that's enough income. We bought the car from brand new. We're buying the house. We have motorbikes. We have motorbike sidecars. We have everything that you want for £1,500 a month, and that includes paying for holidays and things like that. So that's well achievable. And boredom, you can play golf, or you can go fishing, or you can take up a hobby. YouTube. There are many, many things that you can do online. Read books. AI is the new thing. You can do things. You can sell things, ebooks and stuff like that. And I'll give you some examples. Hang on a minute. If you want to have a look, hang on, where's my banners? Right, if you have a look at this, ebooks available, buy me. You can just look, you don't have to buy anything. You can have a look. And on there, I've got various ebooks that I've made myself. And all of these, they range from Keto Diet to retiring and living in Thailand. And I've done all of these books through ChatGPT and Canva, and I've made them all myself. And they're only $3 each. So you can do stuff like this. You can make your own ebooks. If you've got some skills or qualifications, you can make a course. There's always somebody who's looking for something to do. And like YouTube is a plethora of information. Although I was an electrician in the UK, I didn't know anything about solar. So everything I learned about solar was from YouTube, and I put my own solar installation over here, and I made several videos about it. So there's no reason to be bored. There's always something that you can learn, always something that you can do in a skill. I mean, I don't know what job you used to do in the past, but the job that you did, again, for me, being a firefighter, I give advice on why you should put a smoke detector up, dodgy electrics over here, how to plan an escape, what things to think about if you're living in a house. I mean, our house, you can see on the windows, we have metal frames on every window in the house. So if we were in bed and there was a fire in the living room, we couldn't get out the window. So I've got a hacksaw in the bedroom, and I've got a grinder in the bedroom. So that would cut away the metal bars. If a situation ever happened, again, I just think of everything, because we've got smoke detectors anyway. So smoke detectors would go off at the early signs of a fire. But if we missed the batteries going bleep, or for some reason the smoke detector didn't work and there was a fire in the living room, we would have to go through the living room to be able to get out. So this is what I'm saying. If you've got knowledge, you can impart the knowledge on other people as well. So that you can look upon retirement. It gives you more time to be able to study and read and learn new skills. So there's no reason to be bored. You've got to embrace retirement and love it, because it gives you the opportunity. For me now, I haven't got enough hours in the days to fill everything. I don't know how I used to work 7 days a week and fit everything else into it. Thanks, Les. I'll definitely be in touch. Look forward to it. Is it worth me doing my visa there when I get to Thailand? Because normally I get a 60-day stamp on my passport, then extend for another 180 days at the immigration. Would you recommend? Yeah, I would recommend, if you're going to go for a retirement visa, apply for it outside of the country through the embassy. It just makes life so much simpler. But if you don't want to do that, then you can come to Thailand and then do everything within Thailand. But if you've got the 800,000 baht to put in the bank, it does make things a little bit more easier. But if you don't have the 800,000, then it becomes a bit more difficult, and that's where you need to use an agent. Some of you guys should join the expat club, get good advice. I've done 2 or 3 discussions at the expats club in Pattaya many years ago. Les, if it's not personal, how did you meet your wife there? You seem a very compatible and suited couple. I'll go with the story about how I met my wife in a minute. But we just click. We have our arguments. Everybody has the arguments every now and then, but we do sort of match each other's ambitions and wants and needs. Good on you, Norm. You will enjoy living in Thailand. I mean, Thailand isn't for everybody. Some people find it too hot. Some people find it uncomfortable. The heat in the high season can be unbearable, but that's for 3 months of the year. Rainy season doesn't rain every day, and it's actually nice because it cools everything down the rainy season. So I'd sooner be warm, sat in front of a fan, than be cold and sat in front of a gas fire. That's the quick analogy of it. In Sisiket, Les, went on Friday. I needed a couple of extra photos, and hopefully will go smoothly. The immigration officer said that my 2 months' money in the bank is not okay. Sisiket, okay, yeah, no problem. Good luck I hope everything goes okay for you. Good evening, Les. I'm joining you late from Nakhon Rakchasima rural. No problem. That's where my wife is at present. She's near CQ. She's up with the family. It was a year's anniversary since her grandma died, so she's gone up see the family, and she's going to be there for maybe 4 or 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, helping cutting the sugar cane and stuff like that. So I'm on my own for a month or 6 weeks, so I've got things to do. Hi, Les, do you cycle around Graham? No, I don't. I don't cycle because the reason why I don't bicycle, one is too many soy dogs. Soy dogs chase you, and if the soy dogs, you get a soy dog that nibbles your ankle or just nips you, then you've got to go and get your rabies injections and stuff like that. And so if I don't ride around on a bicycle, then I'm never going to get nipped by a soy dog. I've never really been into exercise anyway, so no, I don't ride a bicycle. I have a motorcycle which I drive around, a little Honda Click 160, and that's just great. I'm happy with that. I walk along the beach every now and then. That's brilliant, but no, I don't cycle anywhere. There's quite a few soy dogs, but soy dogs are the same problem no matter where you are in the whole of Thailand. They're everywhere. So that's one thing that you've got to beware, is the soy dogs. But if you have a stick, there's not many incidents that you hear of about soy dogs attacking people. The bark is worse than the bite, if you like. They'll bark at anybody and everything. It's like we have a number of dogs up and down our road, and they're very territorial, and like they sort of know the sound of the motorbikes or the cars, and the motorbike sidecars, and so the normal people who come up and down here, the soy dogs never even bother. But we've had a couple of workers working at restoring a house up here, and they've just walked back home, and the dogs have barked at them because they know that they aren't from around here. So they never bother us. Just go out on the motorbike, and they're just like, look as we go by, look as we come back. So yeah. But soy dogs are everywhere in Thailand, sadly. Can you hire small sailboats, catamarans around Rayong? I don't particularly know whether you can or not. It's something. It's something that I wanted to do. I took up kite surfing just before I met Ploy, and I got dragged along the sand on my first day kite surfing, and it scraped all the skin off my knee down in Jom TM. So I said to the guys, "I'll be back tomorrow, no problems. I'll be back tomorrow. This isn't gonna." And I couldn't walk for 3 or 4 days, and that was the only thing that I did was kite surfing for 1 day. It was a 3-day course, and I never finished it because then I met Ploy, and Ploy was more interested than the kite surfing. I like kite surfing because again it was free. I used to do paragliding back in the UK, and I just thought once you bought all the equipment, and that was 65,000 baht for all the equipment, which was quite expensive, I thought, to go kite surfing. But I still fancy doing it. Whether I'll do it one day or not, I don't know now. But yeah. So if you're going to hire a small sailboat or catamaran, I've never seen people sailing, or to be fair, around here, so I don't know about that. But I would imagine it's be quite expensive. No, so I don't know about that, to be fair. But I would imagine, I mean, you can buy the small sailboats and stuff like that anywhere on the bar and sold, but it's transporting it to the beach, unloading it and picking it back up again, having a trailer. When I was on Koh Chang, there was a couple of sailboats just on the beach on the house that we rented, and it just painted a picture of the little catamaran, one-person sailboat. And I thought, oh, you could just drag that into the sea because you weren't too far away from the sea. And I thought, if I lived near the beach like that, I'd have a little catamaran that I could go and do that every day, and that'd be lovely, wouldn't it? But apart from that, living anywhere else, again, we live 8 minutes away from the beach. Where would we store it? I'd have to have a trailer. I'd have to get a tow bar, yada, yada, yada. So it creates extra problems. So, yeah. Again, long-winded answer to say no, really. Les, is there anything you really miss from England? No, not at all. There's not one thing that I miss from England at all. No, I can't say there's anything that I miss from England. I certainly don't miss the cold, that's for sure. I don't miss the crime. I don't miss the stress. I don't miss the work. Is Thailand perfect? No, it isn't. But for me, it's 90% perfect. You know, I sleep at night. I don't worry about going out eating food. I don't worry about repairs for the car. I don't worry about servicing costs. Everything over here is affordable. Much, much more when I lived in England. Everything. If something goes wrong with, I'm like, I've got to repair that. You know, the only thing that I would say that it's a little bit on the back of my mind is like illness. If you have, I mean, I've got 700,000 bahts worth of cover. Next year, I'm going to increase that to 1.2 million because I'm getting older. And as you get older, things start going wrong with you. So I might increase that up to 1.2 million. So that'll cost me like 40,000 baht a year for that insurance cover. You know, that's the only thing that worries me is health-wise, is why I've lost a lot of weight. Because if you lose a lot of weight, it's less stress on your heart. My blood pressure's down because of that. Everything fits better. I can bend, move, and get around much better because I've lost 26 kilos. So in answer, no, nothing. I miss nothing from England. Retire, don't give up to shameless plug. I'll plug yours, David. Retire, don't give up. He had his channel hijacked. So he's starting up all again. He had over 1,000 subscribers. So for those people, give Dave a helping hand. Retire, don't give up 2.0. Have a look at that and subscribe to his channel and help him back onto his 1,000 subscribers again. I think if you can paraglide around Jomtien and go small flights, or am I mistaken? No, paragliding over here, the thermals are so strong and so bad, it's dangerous to go paragliding here. But there's a lot of paramotoring, and if you do a power motoring, you've got more oomph in you, so therefore it can counteract the thermals. But it's still quite dangerous over here, the thermals, and they don't have the landing or takeoff zones like they have in the UK. Les, are the seas safe where you are? Where we are on Swanson Sea, it's fairly good. But the Melonpun Beach, there's been a few deaths there with riptides where people have been dragged out to sea, and kids have been caught by the waves. So Swanson, it's much safer. It's very shallow. You can walk out a long way before it gets waist deep. So yeah, the seas around here are much better. Retire, don't give up. Where do you live in Thailand? I'll let Dave answer that one. 90% is almost perfect. Nowhere is under. Yeah, exactly. I would say nowhere is 100% good. Thank you, buddy. Spot check on my info emails. Thank you. Yep. So where are we at? We've done almost 2 hours now. 1 hour 52 minutes, and it's gone by like that, hasn't it? Really good. I'm just trying to think what else we was going to talk, because we talked about visas an awful lot, haven't we? Because that's the biggest elephant in the room at the minute, is the visas, and the ease of getting visas and the ease of getting over here. Because the cost of living over here is incredible. I mean, the house that I'm living in now, that you can see, we used to rent this for 12,000 baht a month until we decided to buy it. So for 12,000 baht a month, in fact, if anybody's interested in living in the Rayong area, come and have a look at our landlady. She has about 15 houses in the village area where we live, and she's just renovated one just up the road there, and that's about 17,000. It's a beautiful house, nice big drive, shade for your car, fully renovated. And the rent includes the gardener to come and cut the grass. So you don't even have to cut the grass, because the gardener will come and do it for you. And that's about 17,000. Newly renovated, beautiful house. In fact, I'm going to do a video of it next week and put it on YouTube. And I think she's got 1 or 2 other houses as well that, you know, if you look through my videos for the rented houses, they're all her houses anyway. She has about 15 in this area, and majority of them are all rented. She might have 1 or 2 now. She's certainly got 1, maybe 2. Done to a high standard, fully furnished, and it's not just cheap furniture and not just cheap bedding or beds. It's all quality stuff. So if anybody's interested in relocating or wanting to have a look at them houses, send me an email, and then we can go from there. I'll put my email address on here. There we go. Leslie Pearson 58 at yahoo.com. And if you want to ask me any questions, please feel free to send me an email, and I'll answer any questions that I can. My channel is free, always will be free. I don't have Patreons, I don't have membership sites. Anything that I do is, you know, with no strings attached to it. I'm a genuine, honest guy, and if I can help you out, I'll help you out. I do have a buy me a coffee link, so any information that you get, you're always welcome to buy me a coffee, but it's not, I don't insist on anybody having to do it. I'm as honest as the day is long. What you see is what you get. I don't give any BS, and I've met many subscribers who've said the same thing. I'm probably the most honest guy here on YouTube, which is nice for those people who said that, and I appreciate it, and thanks very much. I've lived here for 13 years now, so I know a little bit about living in Thailand, and if I can help anybody out, I will help anybody out. Thanks for the live, Les. Have a good day. Thanks very much. That's cheap. Yeah, 12,000, and that's from my house here, and the one up the road, 17,000. So again, It's very, very cheap. My retirement will expire in July. I have 800,000 in the bank. Is it easy to continue to stay living it? Yeah, if you've got the 800,000 in the bank, that's no problem whatsoever. It's easy to live here. Les, you are number one. Great show. Thank you very much. I'll send you the $10 later. Okay, thank you. Jackson in Thailand, their houses are stunning, to be honest. They spoiled me. There you go. There's another guy who lived here for a year, moved somewhere else, and coming back to one of Pim's houses, which are stunningly beautiful. Thanks very much for that. Her houses are very, very well kept and well looked after. Les's car insurance cheap. My car now is 6 years old. It is valued at 260,000 baht, and the insurance for that was 7,300, and that's fully comprehensive insurance. 7,300 for a cost insurance repair or wrote off of 260,000. So yeah, it's cheap. And over here, it's the car that's insured, not the person. So I've got my insurance is for me and anybody over the age of 30 to drive the car. And even if somebody drove the car under 30, I've got a 5,000 baht excess. So if somebody under the age of 30 drove my car that wasn't on the insurance, it would cost them an extra 5. So I'd have to pay the first 10,000 baht. So it's a little bit weird, the insurance over here, but it's the car that's insured, not the driver. Retired, don't give up. Everything you just said is true. Thanks very much, Dave. He's another guy who I helped out. You know, he came over here from Canada, first time in Thailand. We met and we've been friends a couple of years now, haven't we, Dave? And again, we talk to each other quite often. Thanks for the live chat. Loved it. Thanks very much. Time you took a break. I'll be going in a minute. Coming up with 2 hours, and it's starting to get dark now. We're time 5:53, so it'll be dark in another 15-20 minutes. You talk a lot of straight, simple sense. Great vlogger, Les. Thanks very much. Question, just like to ask you, I don't drive in is there a local bus to jump on like it's in Pattaya and Jomtien? No. That's one of the disadvantages of living here where we live. It's sort of semi-rural, so no, there isn't buses. You do need transport over here, for sure, if you're living in the Rayong, Swanson, Banpei area. Yeah, I mean, Jomtien and Pattaya is sort of unique. And I mean, Chiang Mai, any of the big tourist locations, you're always going to have the BART buses and you know, transportation is nothing to worry about. You don't need a car. In fact, I did without the car for 2 years when I lived in Jomtien because it was pointless having a car because it was so cheap for transportation. And so, yeah, but if you're living up in the sticks, semi-rural location, you do need transport, that's for sure. Dave, I'll give you an hour and then I'll call. Yeah, no problem, Dave. Thanks very much. Children, thank you, Les. Yeah, so no problem. Okie dokie. So there we go. We've been going for 2 hours now. We'll be going 2 hours in another 6 seconds. So I'm going to call an end to it because the mosquitoes are buzzing around my feet now as it's coming into dusk over here. Thank you very much for the conversation. I didn't get to chat about anything and everything that I wanted to. I've got a list that I wanted to do, but again, I answer the questions that people want to know, and I'll answer them questions before I go through my list of talking to people. So thanks very much, everybody, for joining. Enjoy 2026. Happy New Year to all the people. And watch the videos. Give it a thumbs up. And look forward to talking to you again in another couple of weeks' time. So from Les, Retired and Living the Dream, till the next time, bye for now.